In this video, we're going to tell you 3 unbelievable stories. And by the end of the video, you'll have to guess which of these 3 stories were real and which were just myths. We'll reveal the truth behind each story and let you know if your guesses were right or not. The name of our first story is Friends in the Mirror. Justin and Kate had just moved into a beautiful, classic-style house in the suburbs. For them and their little daughter Lucy, who had just turned 5, it was a chance for a fresh start. Lucy was a happy, energetic girl who easily adapted to any environment. But ever since they moved into this new house, something strange had changed in Lucy's behavior. A few weeks after settling in, Kate noticed that Lucy was spending most of her time in the attic, where some unused items were stored along with a large old mirror with an intricate wooden frame and carvings. Lucy would excitedly, and sometimes in a soft, mumbling voice, talk to someone in that mirror. One night, Kate overheard her daughter whispering something softly from behind the door. When she asked Lucy who she was talking to, Lucy replied with a serious face, "Emma. Emma says this is her house." Kate smiled at first, chalking it up to a child's imagination. But as days went by, Lucy spent more and more time in the attic. She said Emma was a girl around her age, with golden hair and an old-fashioned dress. When Kate heard these detailed descriptions, she grew a little worried but tried not to show it. A few days later, Justin came home from work and went up to the attic, where he saw Lucy gently placing her hand on the mirror, as if trying to touch something inside it. When Justin asked Lucy what she was doing, Lucy told him, "Emma wants to take me with her." This statement left Justin deep in thought. Curious, he and Kate decided to look into the history of the house one night. They visited neighbors in the area and gathered information that deeply troubled them. Apparently, years ago, a family had lived in the same house with a little girl named Emma, but she had tragically passed away, and there were rumors that Emma's spirit had never left the house. Kate decided to cautiously talk to Lucy about it. When she asked Lucy to describe Emma again, she was met with strange answers. Lucy gave details that matched the descriptions of the girl the neighbors had mentioned. This terrified Kate and Justin. They wondered if Lucy was really communicating with Emma's spirit, trapped in the mirror. A few nights later, something bizarre happened in the house. That night, Kate called Lucy's name several times, but Lucy didn't respond. After a while, Kate searched the entire house and realized Lucy wasn't there. Kate and Justin rushed to the attic, as it was the last place Lucy could have been. When they opened the attic door, they were met with something unbelievable. Everything in the attic was in its place, but 2 things were missing: Lucy and the mirror. To their shock, both the mirror and Lucy had vanished without a trace. After this incident, Kate and Justin tried everything to find Lucy, but she never returned and was gone forever. So, what do you think? Did Lucy run away from home, or did Emma pull her into the mirror? Or was everything Lucy said a lie, and no one was actually in the mirror? One thing's suspicious, though. If Emma pulled Lucy into the mirror, how did the mirror itself disappear without a trace? Of course, there's another possibility. Maybe we made up this story to mess with your minds, and this whole thing is just a myth. Stick with us till the end of the video because we'll tell you whether this story about Lucy and the mirror was real or not. Now, it's time to move on to the second story, called A Nightmare at the Hotel. In 2013, Elisa, a 21-year-old student at the University of Vancouver, Canada, decided to travel to Los Angeles for her studies. She chose a cheap hotel called the Sky Hotel for her stay. After a few days passed, Elisa's family couldn't reach her. No calls, no texts, no messages. Her family tried to contact the Sky Hotel with great difficulty. They explained the situation to the hotel's support team, but due to privacy policies and guest rights, the hotel couldn't share any information about their guests. After countless efforts by Elisa's family, the hotel finally agreed to look into the matter and promised to update them. The hotel staff first went to Elisa's room, but no one was there. The room was completely tidy, and it seemed like Elisa had left without notice. The staff then decided to check the security cameras. They discovered that Elisa hadn't been seen entering or leaving the hotel in the past few days, but 4 days prior was the last time she was spotted in the hotel. In the security footage, Elisa was seen in the elevator. She appeared to be running from something, frantically pressing the elevator buttons, looking outside, and moving her hands as if she was talking to someone who wasn't there. Her behavior was strange and terrifying, and this was the only clue left about Elisa. You might ask, what did she do after leaving the elevator? Well, after stepping out of the elevator, Elisa quickly went to her room. came out after a few seconds, and slowly made her way to the hotel's rooftop. There were no cameras on the rooftop, so the security footage ended there. The staff rushed to the rooftop but found no trace of Elisa. The only things up there were the water tanks installed on the roof. The hotel staff called Elisa's family and explained the situation. A few hours later, strange reports started coming in. Hotel guests complained that the water from the taps had a foul smell and an unpleasant taste. The staff went to the rooftop to inspect the water tanks and were met with an unbelievable scene. They found Elisa's body inside one of the water tanks. After this discovery, a big question arose. How did Elisa end up inside the water tank? Access to the rooftop was extremely difficult, and the water tanks were so heavy and large that moving them seemed nearly impossible for one person. Additionally, the tanks were quite high, and it would have been impossible for someone to climb into them without the proper equipment. So, did Elisa really climb into the water tank on her own? And why? What about her talking to something invisible? Why was she so scared of it? Did that invisible thing push her into the tank? There's also another important possibility. Maybe this story is entirely made up, and we're trying to trick you. For now, we won't reveal the secrets of this story. Stay with us till the end of the video, because we'll tell you whether Elisa's story is real or not. Now, let's move on to the third story, called The Miscalculation. In 1990, an Airbus A300B4F cargo plane was tasked with transporting 150 barrels of crude oil from Galicia in western Spain to Valencia in the east. This was a long journey, and given the type of aircraft used, the estimated flight time was around 10 hours. On November 15, 1990, the plane took off without any issues, carrying a crew of 9. But soon, things started to go wrong. It turned out that someone had made a critical miscalculation. 3 hours into the flight, an alarm sounded in the cockpit, indicating a problem. The pilot, named Carlos, announced, "We don't have enough fuel to reach Valencia. With this much weight, we'll run out of fuel about 20 minutes before landing. There's no emergency runway nearby. We have no choice but to quickly reduce the plane's weight so we can make it to our destination with the fuel we have left. We need to jettison 4 barrels out of the 150 barrels of oil. This is the only way we can reach Manises Airport in Valencia." Each barrel weighed 136 kilograms, so dumping 4 barrels would reduce the plane's total weight by 544 kilograms. This would be enough to reach a safe state. The crew quickly threw 4 barrels out of the back of the plane. Fortunately, the plane landed safely at Manises Airport in Valencia without further issues. However, a few hours later, reports emerged showing that dumping those 4 barrels of oil was the worst possible decision. News spread quickly. Reports indicated that when the barrels were ejected, the pressure of the crude oil on the barrel walls caused them to crack and break apart in midair, releasing the oil into the sky. As the oil dispersed in the air, due to its high speed as it fell and the cold winter temperatures, the droplets turned into sharp, icy spears that hurtled toward the ground at incredible speed. Just 3 minutes later, these frozen oil spears hit the ground. Most of them fell harmlessly, but one did not. One of the spears struck a farmer named Diego directly in the back, killing him instantly. Diego was 51 years old. A few days after the incident, Carlos, the pilot, resigned from flying forever. Following this event, the Spanish government imposed a strict ban on dumping any liquids from aircraft. But was someone intentionally trying to overload the plane with barrels to cause it to run out of fuel and crash? Were the oil barrels made of such poor quality material that they could break apart in the sky? Or maybe someone attacked Diego with a knife and killed him, and the whole story about the oil turning into spears was just a misunderstanding. But I'll tell you, there's another possibility. Maybe this story isn't real at all. The stories for this episode are over, and now it's time to find out which story is real and which is made up. But before that, let's do a quick recap of the 3 stories. Story number 1, Friends in the Mirror. Lucy, a 5-year-old girl, was talking to a girl inside a mirror. After a few nights, Lucy and the mirror disappeared forever. Story number 2, A Nightmare at the Hotel. A 21-year-old girl named Elisa traveled from Canada to Los Angeles for her studies and stayed at a hotel. After a few days, Elisa's lifeless body was found in the water tank on the hotel's rooftop. Story number 3, The Miscalculation. The pilot of a cargo plane realized mid-flight that they didn't have enough fuel. To lighten the load, they jettisoned 4 barrels of oil. The crude oil spilled out, froze in the cold air, and turned into sharp, icy spears. One of them struck a farmer in the back, killing him. I know you're eager to find out which story is real and which is fake. Keep in mind that anything is possible. All the stories could be real, all of them could be fake, or it could be a mix of both. Don't look at the comments because the answers might be spoiled. I'll give you 10 seconds to make your guesses about the stories. All right, what do you think about story number 1? Friends in the mirror. Do you think it's fake? If you think it's fake, you're wrong. This story is completely real. What about story number 2? A nightmare at the hotel. Do you think it's real? Wrong again. This story is made up and doesn't exist. And what's your take on story number 3? The miscalculation. Do you think it's fake? You're absolutely right. We made this story up to trick you. It's not real. How many did you guess correctly? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed challenging yourself with this video, give it a like and subscribe to our channel. If you've experienced something strange in your life, share it with us in the comments. We'll use your stories in future videos and feature them in upcoming episodes. If you're up for more challenges and want to guess which stories are real or fake, check out the rest of our channel's videos. See you in the next video.